Good evening. This is Bel Geode, and we are at Flight Sim Expo in Vegas. Yes, I know it's been forever since I've actually been here. 5 years have come and gone since I've done the Roundtable wrap-up. Thankfully, my good buddy and fellow grumpy simmer, Mr. Tristan, NovaWing24, was able to, pass the torch and make sure that the roundtable continued last year, and I greatly appreciate that, by the way. My other fellow grumpy simmer, Mr. Sérgio from HeliSimmer.com, was also present at that one, keeping that alive. But since I decided to come back, well, we're doing it again. And this time I've got a lot of people in this room. So, first thing that I want to do is I want to hand the mic around and have everyone introduce themselves, tell the viewing audience who you are and what you do in the flight sim community. So, which way are we going, left or right? We're going left. All right, so
I've done this introduction so many times today already. There's like this mental blank. Anyway, yeah. Hi there, folks. So my name is NovaWing24. This is not one of my videos, even though it starts the same. So yes, as Mr. Bel Geode has said, yes, I am the one of the three grumpy simmers. I have a YouTube content creator. I am also a flight simulation addict in general, have been for many, many years, and I occasionally work with developers and produce content as well. So a bit of a broad reach of skills and abilities for me. So I tried to keep that anyway.
Hello, I'm Albert van Dijden from the Netherlands. I'm just a user, fly for helicopters, bush planes and small DAR planes, and enjoying my life with all sims available.
Yeah, my name is Colin, and some of you would know me as Shamrock, and I write the Stormbirds blog, and I apologize for my squeaky voice because I've been talking a lot this weekend. And yeah, I write about all things flight sim, combat flight sims, civil flight sims, helicopters, you name it.
How's it going, guys? My name is Jose, also known as TheVRPilot. I make VR flight sim content, and I'm an air traffic controller in real life, so that's what I do. And this is my first Flight Sim Expo, so I'm happy to be here, and actually I got a really good crew. My gosh, it's been amazing hanging out with these guys. They've done more for me than I could ever say. But anyways, been a great event, and here we go.
Hi, I'm Seb from Cockspur. I make airplanes for Flight Simulator, or well, I try to make planes for Flight Simulator.
You seem to do a pretty good job.
Stop it, you. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I'm here. I do Flight Sim full time. It's all I do really. So, yeah.
Hey there, I'm Luciano. I am my day job is I'm a 3D environment artist, but I am also one of the founders of PropStrike Studio and develop sceneries for flight simulation.
Hey guys, I'm Sérgio from HeliSimmer.com, and yeah, the third Grumpy Simmer. Yeah, well,
We actually all
bingo.
we're all here. Oh my God.
Yeah, for the second time, the three Grumpy Simmers are together, and you get to witness it, guys. Just I know you're all in awe. Just look at Colin. Colin's just man, he can't help himself. Yeah, well, and you know me, I write articles, reviews, news, etc., everything about helicopters, and I nag a lot of people as well. Professionally.
Yes, always a professional. You got to be professional when you do that stuff. Plus, he's also the Don of the helicopter mafia, so you have to pay your respects to the Don. So, continuing the tradition, usually the first thing that I will ask whoever it is that's involved in this crazy thing is what you like the best out of the convention. Of course, since I've gotten the mic, I'll go first. Honestly, it's been 5 years, like I said, since I've done this. And I think what amazed me the most, seeing it after all this time, number one, is just how much bigger it is since the last one that I went to in 2019 in Orlando. It's become massive, but even more so than that, now we've got, Microsoft Asobo present, and that was not a thing before when I was going to these things. So it was great to actually catch up with Jorg and Seb and everybody. And of course, all the people that represent things that I am very much interested in, all of my interest areas. So, the people that were showcasing DCS, whether they were hardware people like Verpil and so on and so forth, the VR crew, even though I did not get the opportunity to try the VR Experience Center with the Pimax Crystal, I did get the opportunity, thank you to Mr. Jose here, to try out that Somnium VR that Steve, the VR Flight Sim guy, has been raving about. And oh my God, now I see why you're raving about it, Steve. It is amazing. I'm not going to buy it. It's still too pricey, but it is amazing. And I think that was the one thing, at least for me, coming back into this, was just seeing how well represented pretty much every single facet of the flight sim community is. This is what I've always wanted this event to be. And in my absence, it looks like they finally achieved that. And I'm really grateful to Evan and company for being able to pull it all together and give us basically the best flight sim experience ever. This is the show, really. All right, that's all I got to say about that. Tristan, what was your favorite part of Flight Sim Expo? And then we'll move along.
So my favorite part of Flight Sim Expo is it sounds so incredibly cheesy, and honestly, it kind of is. However, I also think it's the most important part about an in-person event like this is seeing simmers of no matter what sort of type of flight simulation is their passion, all being able to, come together and talk over, whether it be over a couple of shared drinks at one of the events, whether it be, getting to know that, oh, hey, there's somebody who flight sims, that has the same home airport as me. Or, hey, I never thought I'd like airliners, and now, this is interesting. Or, I only ever fly tube liners, but now, hey, there's full motion sim now, which makes it interesting for me to now want to fly or look at flying helicopters or look at flying, combat aircraft. So, for me, it's the getting outside of your comfort zone and realizing that there is more that unites us as simmers than divides us. And as much as global communication is important, and we can we talk to the 3 different time zones that the 3 Grumpy Sims used to be on, in fact we can do that online. Nothing really beats in-person experiences for being able to connect with your fellow simmer and realize that there is more that unites us than divides us, and seeing that and hearing those snippets of conversation. Always for me, that is always the biggest thing. And I think that this event, once again, it was the biggest event, and seeing the developers bring their A games out, and really sort of take on challenges to actually go, let's look at diversifying our audience. Let's look at what can we offer somebody new. And seeing that was really impressive from both a community point of view and from a developer point of view.
What I was thinking about is my first time at Flight Sim Expo.
Oh, really? This was your first time?
But I have a lot of experience with the FS Weekend in Europe. There, that group van meeting or the flight simmers is there too, but this is much bigger, much bigger. And what I found more interesting here is all the hardware that you can try and all the stuff shooting. And what I found was all the helicopter stuff I found. This was amazing, amazing. So, and having a chance to meet up the developers, and to walk up to Seb and ask him some questions. Well, that was amazing. That was amazing to do. That was amazing.
There's not a lot of places where you can walk up to the developer of the leading simulator, whatever in whatever genre you have, and be able to talk to them.
Yeah, X-Plane is present at FS Weekend, but the main guy, I lost his name, Austin Meyer, not. And here you can walk to him and say hello. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's amazing stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out the most for me. So my last expo was 2019 as well, in person and virtual since then. But the thing that stuck out the most for me certainly this year was connecting with folks like yourselves, content creators, developers, and just sense of community here that I'm really feeling this year. I think that has been spectacular. And I mean, the expo itself, I thought was extremely well organized, but I think this is more of a sort of just a organic extension of that. And so it's been fantastic to connect with so many people. And yeah, having Microsoft here talking about their stuff. I think there was a lot of reveals this year from different companies about things that they're doing. Bluebird simulations with the reveal. Their Dreamliner stood out to me. The entire presentation from Microsoft. And it was great, for me personally, because I also enjoy the combat sim side as well.
No, really.
Really,
Yeah.
I know you're shocked.
Never would have thought
You're
that.
shocked.
Yeah,
I know. But connecting once again with Jason Williams and his new team doing Combat Pilot, very exciting to see that. So yeah.
That's great. So, I think there's not. Drew said one thing. There's like a couple things that come to mind. Number one is there's a lot of youth. I mean, very young kids. There's a lot of parents, walking around with young kids, which is awesome because they're getting started into flight simulation. I mean, this is a great place to get addicted and lose all your money. And, we came to Vegas to not gamble, but we all gamble.
I mean, it's Vegas. The house is going to win.
That's exactly. So seeing a bunch of young, really kids, there with their parents and having them brought them here, it was really cool. So that was probably the first thing. Second is obviously just the amount of hardware you get to try and see. Because listen, we can't go to Best Buy anymore. There's no Tiger Direct down the street where you can try the hardware, check it out. That doesn't exist. So we're forced to rely on reviews, trust people that are getting the content and maybe checking it out and then seeing, okay, is this something that we're going to consider? And so having the hardware, whether it's VR, Flight Sim, Yoke, Motion Sims, even if it's something we can't afford, I'm okay with trying it and seeing, okay, wow, that's that much money? Well, cool. Well, it puts it in perspective. This is really good for this lower price. So I thought that was really cool. And finally, I mean, really, I feel like you probably come to one of these events for the hardware, the software, and you kind of end up staying for the people. You make, if it wasn't for, Drew and Sérgio, and really what kind of also sparked this off was Dogfight Dynamics. Sérgio had reached out, or not Sérgio, is it Ricardo? Rodrigo. Thank you. Rodrigo had reached out and said, he's like, hey, are you going to Sun and Fun? And me going to Sun and Fun, the air show at Lakeland Airport, and being able to just meet some people in person, which was Zolt from VR, Rodrigo, Dogfight Dynamics, and Fly Inside. It was just meeting people and shaking hands was so much fun for me, and it was really cool. I'm like, imagine that on next level. And I had already committed, but I was like, wow, Flight Sim Expo is going to be great. So you come for the event and you kind of come back for the people and the relationships.
As a first timer?
Yeah.
Did it meet your expectations?
Oh, it exceeded.
Okay.
So if that answers that, it exceeded my expectations and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, making a lot of friends. And so that was awesome.
Yeah, so for me, I come here mostly for the people. That is for me, there are people around the world that I talk to almost every day, be it developers or these three guys. And, to actually meet face to face is extremely valuable, especially for us developers between each other. I mean, we talk constantly, we always share our knowledge between us, but meeting up like this is, it gives so much more. It's like coming to a reunion, meeting all your friends, and that's what it's like for me. It's like coming here and meeting a bunch of really good friends.
And I think a big part of that is, and you sort of touched on there, is the fact that and we.
You need the microphone, Tristan, because otherwise it won't be heard.
I don't know. I thought people could just hear me from the Australian voice going through. Anyway, but to your point there is that we talk to each other online regularly, but it's the in-person connection that we still miss. I know you've been a hermit for the last 5 years. However, the in-person experience, you can't beat it. And I think being able to connect with people, to be able to put a face to the name and the personality that we got to know online. I think there's a lot to be said for, we can be very honest online. We can also not be very honest online. And I think being able to, come here together, as I said earlier for me, and I know the first time we met at one of these events, it was amazing. It was just, putting the faces to the names, the voices that we hear online. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me, I think.
For me, as a developer, was very interesting to see pretty much everybody I shook hands with, introduced myself. I said who I was. It was like I have your product, right? And they have spent. They were telling me they spent hours with my product, with the airports, and going and enjoy. And they look at you and they're like, "Thanks for that. That was amazing."
Is that surreal?
It's surreal
Yeah.
because I see names and emails, right, when they make a purchase, and then in the eventual like tech support. But you see somebody going like, "Thank you, that was awesome. I really like this little nook that I know I spent so many hours developing." So that's great. So as a developer, I think it's a must. If you develop for flight simulators, you need to come to enjoy that aspect of it. And even as a consumer, like I've seen people that I have purchased many add-ons from and talked to them and said, "This is," and also seeing Austin, seeing the Microsoft guys, I think it was fantastic. And as a consumer for hardware as well, like you said, when you see a turntable online of a product you want, right? Like I'm looking for the collectives, for example. It's such a thing that you will never have a chance to try, right? And then you do, and you fly, and you try, and then you go the extra mile, and you go on the motion sim, and you go like, "Oh my God, this is the the top." So I think that was fantastic in that aspect. Developing and as a consumer, I think it's a must.
Sweet, sweet.
Well, it's always a very complicated answer to give, but it's not just one thing; it's many things, right? This in particular, I think, and I said this before several times. This was the year of the helicopter and the year of VR.
Yep.
Right? We had. I don't
I feel
think.
like every year is now the year of the helicopter.
Well, I would say every year is the year of the
Don has
helicopter,
spoken.
but we have seen helicopters on a lot of different booths, and not just the guys that are developing for helicopters or developing helicopters, but also other booths that are just having other products like hardware, like Verpal and companies like that.
Microsoft had one.
Microsoft had one. Yeah.
One of the helicopters, one of their
Yeah.
challenges was the delivery.
Yeah, Sebastian was even explaining helicopters to a few persons that were coming by, so that was very interesting to see. You see VR headsets pretty much everywhere. It was just absolutely insane.
This greatly pleases Kitty.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
loving it.
It was a much bigger event than the other years. But for me, what makes it, and I know I'm repeating what others have said, but it's just the human side of things. Getting to meet people that I haven't met before, like for example Luciano here and Jose and Colin. I've been talking to Colin for so long, and being able to actually talk to him, it's just absolutely. Oh, and even Albert, which is also the first time that we meet in person, it's just absolutely fantastic, and the possibility for me to also come here and share a bit of my experience, especially this year, was very humbling, because it's the third time I come to Flight Sim Expo to a presentation. People can talk to me and thank me, but this year was absolutely incredible. The amount of people that came to me and thanked me for the work that I've been doing with helisimmer.com. It's been fantastic. So that human side of things, in which you can talk to people, approach people, it's what actually. Yeah, I can because I like to see the hardware and all that stuff. But what really hypes me, what really gets me in the zone, what really forces me to come, even when I'm, for several reasons, I'm not feeling like I should be coming, it's the people.
Absolutely. I think we're pretty much all in agreement, since we're all echoing pretty much the same answer. But I just want to throw it out there that it's not just this little echo chamber, if you will, of developers and content creators in there. I've been going around throughout the last few days and asking everybody who's attending, especially if somebody tells me that they're brand new. I texted my mom this morning and said, I can't walk 10 paces in this building with this hat on without being approached by somebody. So I took that opportunity. I probably should have recorded it, but unfortunately I didn't. But I took that opportunity to ask them basically the same questions that I've been asking you all. And it's almost unanimously the same exact answer. I think that's a pretty good indication that they're doing it right for this expo. But now, just to kind of turn the tables, the next question that I want to quickly go through and have everybody answer is, what did you not like this year at the expo? Or what would you say, may need a little bit more improvement? And for me, I think probably the biggest thing is the way that the whole media partner thing was handled. I mean, I'm extremely humbled and honored that you had me as a media partner and various other people as media partners, but there were areas that I thought could have been a little more streamlined. I'm extremely grateful that we had the place that we could sit, the lounge. But when we first came in, we kind of thought that there was going to be like a line for media to actually get into the place to get our badges. So we ended up missing a fair portion of the initial announcement and everything as that was going on because of the fact that we were in the regular line. Now, it may sound like I'm asking for preferential treatment or whatnot, but I mean, you know us. We're the ones that have been hyping this thing up for years. We've never stopped hyping this thing up. I think that the way that they had gone about it with the whole media partnership thing and the things that we had to do in order to secure, I guess, more cushy perks for it, I'm going to tell you flat out, I didn't like that. I've been supporting this thing for years. Literally everybody knows me, and if they don't know me, they know this. I don't like jumping through hoops, is what I'm trying to say here. So I'm hoping that, in future they will pay more consideration to the guys that have been supporting it for years. We're not newbies, we're not just like fly-by-nights or anything. We're with you for the long haul. We're going to be coming to more of these things. We're going to be telling everybody about this. We're going to try and get our families here if we could. But yeah, there needs to be a little bit more streamlining of that. All right. I've hogged the mic long enough, so we're going to go around the room again and quickly everybody tell me what you did not like or what you think would need improvement for Flight Sim Expo.
It's a really tough one. Like, because you always think about, what could be improved, what could be better. But then it's also the question then of how. Like, how could you be better, Right. I would like it if it was 20 degrees cooler.
That's not going to happen.
But yeah, that's right. So I actually look at it from a sort of a bigger perspective because, and it ties in a little with what you just said there, Drew, which is, for the last 3 years running, it's been the biggest year each year. Now, of course, we've got Rhode Island coming up next year. Yep. That's going to be a big one. And I'm not saying anything against the choice of location. I think there needs to start being consideration made to where people are coming from. Because, obviously this is the community-driven North American Expo, so I get that the primary target is North America. Right. However, just in this room right here, how many people from outside of America are here?
Show of hands.
Yeah, well, yeah. Either way, like outside of the United States, like there are a lot more people that attend this event from beyond the lower 48. That I think, and even for people in the lower 48, like there has to be consideration given to the logistics of people getting there. Right. And I think that's something that may not have been as big a deal. Like, when we started doing this back in 2015, 2016, that definitely was not something that was consideration, because that used to be 200 people that used to turn up.
That was it. That's all we had. Yep. Like 200 at the most in the place.
So, but now we're talking 2,500. Mm-hmm. So I think there is something to be considered about that. Beyond that, I think overall the improvements that we're seeing that they've done, having a media space, I know that was an appreciation from a lot of devs that I spoke to, was that we have a place that that they can sit down and be interviewed and share their products, share what's coming, share their thoughts. That's something that it was been sorely lacking for many years, and great to actually have that there. So, as I said, I just think it's not necessarily something that needs to be fixed, but it needs to be a consideration needs to be made that. There are people from all over America that want to come here, and there are people from all over the world that recognise this as, one of the biggest events around. Particularly now you've got Microsoft turning up on a regular basis. So, yeah, just my thoughts, my two cents.
Well, me as a first timer, I don't see any difference with the other guys. But my my point was that there were presentations in the ballroom, and there were presentations on the floor. The ones on the floor were not recorded, so I missed them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So the ones in the conference in the separate room were recorded, but all the on floor presentations, which were huge, large screen interviews and also those were not recorded, and you cannot review them. And therefore, you had to spare time. And if you were in line for some units to wait, then you missed them. And by that, I missed them all. So that would be my things. If you have floor presentations, regard them as the regular presentations and record them and make them available like your all other presentations were made available. Yeah.
And I know that that's one of the things that they talk about with the virtual ticket, and of course, if you can't attend, in person, you attend virtually, is that you get all those presentations. I didn't realise that the ones that were on the FS Elite stage weren't being recorded, because that's something that I intend to go. I intend to go back and look at all the presentations that I couldn't get to, because that comes, the virtual side of the ticket comes with the physical ticket. But yeah, now I didn't realise I wasn't going to be able to look at the stuff on the FS Elite stage.
I was looking for it yesterday and didn't find them. And there was also not in the schedule for the offline view. So.
There you go.
Trying to think about what might change or be improved. Obviously, I'd love to see more combat sim developers show up. That might be
literally all of the hardware developers were
all the hardware ones were here, so that was fantastic. Yeah.
Microsoft is over these years. Come on.
Yeah. So obviously, I'd love to see that. I guess personally, it's not a complaint. It's just I showed up, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and I don't feel like I saw all the things that I wanted to see.
Yes.
So I think I felt I both felt like a kid in a candy store, but also I felt overwhelmed with the number of things that I wanted to see, and just there's things that I definitely missed. So I don't know. There's no solution to that. It's just there's only so much you can do in a weekend. But yeah.
It almost needs to become Flight Sim Week.
Almost, yeah. It's getting it was mentioned already, but it's gotten bigger than it certainly than it was in 2019, and so yeah. So that was just kind of how I am feeling personally after a few days. So yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely only want to say something if I have some sort of value to bring, and I couldn't think of anything until right now, and I don't know if this would make sense, but if there was a way to have, let's say, media have early access before the morning, if it's something that could be coordinated. There's not a lot of us that are going to wake up and go early, and I guess technically I could have coordinated if I wanted to. Hey, you're going to be at your booth early, and I could do that and then done that, sure. So that kind of solves itself. There's a solution, but I don't have a lot. I mean, I feel like guys bring great things to the table, and I want to bring something to value, but that's about the only thing I can think of. Like, man, I would have liked to have gone early if I knew I could get in early to do a couple things, maybe meet someone or get that time, because slots are taken, we're busy. It was my first year, and the one way I could describe it would be overwhelmed, in the best of ways, right? Overwhelmed. Definitely, it was just, I didn't know. I mean, even though I planned, I have a notebook, I had a schedule I was trying to follow. Luciano was amazing. He had my back, and it was, we got to knock out a lot of stuff, but it was, there was a lot to do, right? And for a first time, even Evan, he gave me, I'm like, hey, I'm a newbie. Any advice? And so he said, check out the floor map, take some notes, and then rock and roll. So, but that's about all I got.
Cool. Mr. Seb?
Yeah. So the first issue. How am I going to put this? I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that were here, especially on Saturday. I had complete sensory overload. Not only were there a lot of people inside of the expo, but there were also a lot of high audio coming from the stage at the expo. So for me, it was like that was too much with all the people and then also a live stage inside of the expo area.
Noise pollution.
Yeah, it was it was too much for me, having, like I said, both a live stage and the expo inside of the same room. That was,
Creating more a little bit of a separation between the two, perhaps.
yeah,
Okay.
not,
Or even just having like a small chill out area.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That would have been great, but also like don't put a live stage area in the expo area.
Yeah.
10,000 square feet area.
Yeah, and if I look back to Houston, what was a problem for me then was the fact that the expo was not located near the hotel. It was, off-site, pretty far away. So they fixed this for this year. This year, for me, coming from, not the biggest country in Europe, I had a lot of connecting flights to be able to get here. So they're fixing that for next year. So next year I can just take a direct flight. So those problems that I have seems to be fixed each year. So, but yeah, for me it's the amount of people and the very loud noise that was on the expo floor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only negative was basically that the stage problem I found, because I missed them all as well, just as like you. I think if they had them presenting on the main stage and having maybe a big screen somewhere where people could see, oh, those guys are talking, I'm gonna go. Kind of a live feed.
Yeah, so sort of have like
A live feed.
A live feed at the other end.
Yeah, with some speakers, if you want to sit in some of the chairs and watch it from there, I mean, there's no point, but maybe you're waiting or eating a sandwich or something, right? That could have alleviated that. There were people talking there that was like, oh, but I had an appointment somewhere that I had to, to try something out. But other than that, it was overwhelming, but I think that to me is not a negative, to me is a positive. There was a lot to see, a lot to, right? I also feel I didn't see everything, and I was walking around, and I was walking with you guys, because like at least they know, they beeline where they actually want to go. I'm gonna fall. At least I have some purpose.
Did you hear that? He thinks we know.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he survived the weekend with us. He's in. He's good.
Yeah, but as a first timer, I loved it overall, and I think they're just minor things to do. We had some conversation about the badges having different colors for media and stuff. So at least when you're walking in, you just come on, go, go, go. I think the idea for having a separate time earlier or stay later for media only, so you don't have to wait in line like I do as a regular attendee. You go, you test the thing, you do your thing, you have time to set up a couple of lights, right? Do some sessions, right? I think that'd be great, because that's the kind of stuff that gets out there, and all people are watching that all year round, right? That's very important. Those are my remarks.
Yeah, then just I've struggled with a couple of things, but they were actually mentioned here. I struggled with the fact that even for me, that I cover a niche, it was really very hard to be able to cover everything. I was running back and forth, and a lot of the times what happened was that when I got to one of the booths, the persons there were busy. Whatever I wanted to try was busy. There was a line, etc., etc. On a lot of events, there's an extra day, which is a media day. It's media only. So, for example, this week we could have had Thursday for not Thursday, Wednesday for the exhibitors to assemble everything. Thursday for the media to have access to these booths, media only. So only the media would be entering the event, and then Friday on, things would continue. Because I not only was not able to cover, because I did not cover everything I wanted to cover, and the things that I did cover, I was running. and it had to be quick, right? And I didn't see anything else. I didn't see anything outside of the actual scope I had, which was to cover helicopters. I didn't try the new VR headset that Jose was talking about. I didn't try other things that I would like to take a look at, simply because I didn't have the time. So for me to be able to cover these things, and when I say cover, I don't even take time, trying to do videos or anything like that. I try things, I take quick notes, I run to the other side. Having a specific media day for me would be extremely important, and I think it will be even more for those that cover things that are more generic, like you, Drew, and you, Tristan. I know you, Drew, cover mostly VR, but you cover pretty much everything that it is of interest for flight simulation. You are a bit more, even more broad in that regard. I cannot imagine. I can't imagine you being able to cover every single thing that you wanted to cover.
It was physically
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
It was physically
So
impossible.
that's a huge problem. Well, there's another problem, but Evan already knows it. I'm not going to beat the dead horse. There was a reason why I was not a media partner this year, and Evan knows. Evan and
I
Phil.
think I touched on that in
Yeah.
my response.
Yeah, that's why I'm not. I said I'm not
I
going
feel
to
the
be.
same.
I'm not going to be the dead horse, right? So Evan knows. So, and the other thing, and I'm picking up what Sebastian said. I missed an area outside of all that noise with some couches, kind of like the lounge that the media partners had, but outside of all that. I needed to just, well, I didn't have time to relax. That's the truth, right? But I needed to stop like for 5 minutes, and I would either have to go to the meal section where is a lot of noise, or I have to go to the talk section, the talk room, the ballroom, where, well, there's a lot of noise unless there's something happening. It's just the interval. So I think that those were the two things that I think need, and also the media line, yeah, definitely. But you guys already said that. But these are, other than that, these are the two things that are really. I think it was the things that really hurt me this year.
So yeah, I think Seb was spot on when he talked about the sensory overload. That seems to be the major buzz phrase, I guess you would say. I mean, I've made it no secret. You all know me. I am a hermit. For me to actually leave my house and travel across the United States to come out here to hang out with you all for a weekend, that took a lot out of me. And exactly what Seb was saying, there was a lot of sensory overload when I got into the place and realized that there was just so much more than I even possibly imagined was going to be packed into that convention hall. It has grown so much since 2019, the last time that I did one of these things. And honestly, I know I promised everybody that I was going to do live streams yesterday and today. The recording that I should have already put up now, as you can see, was something that I did today on the Sunday, the last day, later on in the day when there were less people around. And even so, I still feel like I had to rush through it because I really didn't have the opportunity to really see everything that I wanted to see. I'm planning on buying the Pimax Crystal Light. Guess what? As of yesterday, I couldn't even get a slot to try the dang thing, whether yesterday or today. So I have no idea what the thing feels like. I'm just taking it on faith for everybody in here and everybody out there who actually had the opportunity to try it. Okay, they say buy it, so I'm going to buy it. But yeah.
Even worse.
That-
I'm sorry, it's true, but even worse. It's not just a matter of you wanting to buy the Pimax. You can't talk about it because you didn't try it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I can't give you my honest opinion on it because I have no idea what the damn thing is like. I know it looks good, and I know it's a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, but that's another story for another time. We'll discuss that on the next chill vid. All right, so we are definitely running out of time. So I guess the last thing that I want to do is just kind of like a what if. What is it that you would love to see, or what would you think that you are most looking forward to for the next one? Assuming, of course, you even plan on going to the next one. If you don't, of course, you can say that, but then I got to kick you out. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, what is it that you're most looking forward to? And let's try to make it as quick as possible. Just one thing, the first thing that comes to your mind, and we'll close this out. So the one thing that I'm most looking forward to for the next year, the fact that it's on the East Coast again. It's confirmed, Rhode Island. I can hop in an Amtrak. The Amtrak station is like 5 minutes from my house, and just take the train all the way to the beach. I love that. Thank you, Evan. I know I told you thank you in person, but I'm telling you here too, because you're going to be the first one to get the link for this video. All right, Mr. Tristan.
So for me, the thing that I would like to see the most, I think ties into what Seb was saying before, is I'd like to see a chill out lounge, and we sort of had what.
Second that. I second that.
We had something that almost looked like it last year in Houston, but it was Parallel 42's booth, and I see what they were trying to do, and I was really hoping that maybe we were going to see it this year, and clearly we didn't. Where it's just a space which is just literally half dozen couches, couple of tables, some water, and somewhere that is. It's not overloaded by the sounds of conventions, because there are times when absolutely, like I get it, you know, Sergio's you're saying as well, it was just like, I just want 5 minutes where I am away from everybody. You know, I don't want to be completely in an isolation chamber, but I just want 5 minutes, just put my feet up and just not do anything. So I that's what I would love to see.
It wouldn't be the three grumpy simmers if we didn't have some kind of dang technical issue. My apologies, folks. I'm going to be doing the magic of editing to try and fix that. But we were in the middle of the last question, and just to remind you, the last question was, what one thing would you like to see for the next FSE, assuming, of course, you're planning on going. And I believe we left off right here.
Yeah. And I would second the question for the lounge. That would be the biggest thing, and to have chill out and to be separate from all the hair, from all the noise. Yeah.
I like the lounge idea. That sounds good to me.
Everybody wants a lounge. It's official. Evan, get us a lounge.
With
Well,
beanbag chairs.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. Put some lava lamps in there, you know.
I mean, we're in
Yeah,
Vegas.
lava lamps,
This
yeah.
would have been the perfect place for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been trying to think about it. You know, what would sort of make it more, and I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. Despite I said I was a little overwhelmed, but it was so good to see everything that I saw. So, you know, at the very least, I'd love to see, you know, this all happen again, and the community building and all of that. I think it was fabulous. So, I don't know. That's what I want to see that again. Yeah.
There you go.
It's fabulous.
Mr. Jose,
Fabulous.
WrapUp.
I don't know if I have a good answer, a good idea. I really don't. I just thought of something, Sergio. You know, reference the having a media day. I do like that idea, but I also
It's industry standard.
But I also, talking to some of them, they were barely ready on time when they opened at 9. And I heard that some of the floors weren't even ready. They were like 90% set up just because of how much work it is. So they're doing a lot, and I can only imagine. So aside from that, yeah, I don't know that I have anything very specific. I want to bring something valid to the table. I don't know if I have it, but I'll just pass on mine.
That's fine.
Do I have to mention the lounge?
I think you're pretty much obligated at this point to
Okay.
mention the lounge.
Can we get a lounge?
Yeah.
Can you just pass it back to Jose because he didn't ask for a lounge?
Yeah.
You didn't ask
Jose,
for
you
a
need to ask for a lounge.
Lounge.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
One thing I missed was so when we were in Houston, the concession stands were a good variety, a lot of variety. There was also great, you know, at the hotels you had breakfast and stuff like that. What you have here is a Starbucks with a 2-hour line, or if you wait and want to catch breakfast at the convention where they were gonna sell breakfast, you had the choice of eggs, or
The massive
eggs with things.
That's variety. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was. It was just like you more or less have to start the day off hungry, because there's nothing. Or you can, yeah, there was the breakfast restaurant, but again,
A lot of money.
a lot of money. Plus, it was like you could get there and they would say, yeah, we'll have a table for you in 2 hours, because the lines were insane.
So better food options.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah. We
okay,
really
that
need
works.
better food options. I know the concession stand, they did a fantastic job, but the options you had were extremely limited. So
Because you're referring to like last year when we had the food trucks.
exactly. Last year there were food trucks and stuff like that. So yeah, that was. It made people a bit more grumpy when you have to start the day off hungry.
Did you see how grumpy I was by the end of the day when
yeah,
I didn't
I
have
saw.
breakfast or lunch?
I
I saw.
met people in the morning who were like, "Don't talk to me. There's too much people at Starbucks. I haven't had coffee. Go away." Oh, what you felt?
That was one. That was me. That was me both days.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Got it. And Luciano.
Well, I liked a bunch of things. I don't go out very often, so this to me was great. But I want to see more developers, smaller developers. I want them to come, and I want to see the bigger guys too. I want Eagle Dynamics to be here. I want Parallel 42 again. I was expecting to see them, like this kind of stuff.
They were
They were here.
They were
here,
here.
but
Yeah,
they didn't have a booth.
They didn't have a
Didn't have booth.
Yeah, they were here.
Yeah, there you go.
So they were
Okay.
just wondering.
It's like, yeah, I didn't get to see everything, but couldn't have missed that. So, smaller developers, either maybe have an incentive for them to come, to have a table, a shared table, or, a section where people are more approachable and they can receive feedback.
Combine small development section.
Yeah,
Can I add to that?
yeah, of course.
That was a good point. I was thinking about this earlier. I will take myself for an example. I'm a very small developer. It's more or less just me. I'm coming from across the globe. I can't bring things for a full booth. It's absolutely impossible. It's also a high cost for someone like me to have a booth. Not just the logistical part, but the actual cost.
The actual cost of the
Yeah.
first place, yes.
And if there was a place where I could just put up a couple of folders and some of my merch and not having to stand guard by that booth constantly.
So like they had the media
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah,
But for
exactly.
a developer,
Yeah. A small developer spot where I could just, put up some folders and
Yeah,
a
because
couple of hats and
they had
Cool.
the logos on the banner for for the media partners. How cool would it be for developers?
Microphone.
yeah.
no,
Oh, so
not
Sorry, so-
all of the media partners.
not all the media partners. I didn't look. It's funny. I was gonna go see if ooh, is my logo on there? Was your logo not on there? Okay, so I was gonna go and see.
Ironically, his was.
His was?
Mine wasn't.
I was gonna say like it was large enough.
It wasn't.
But no, the thought is the same way they had that media partner. How neat would it be? You can't sit here and afford either the booth. You're making the investment. You're coming over. You're meeting. You're being there. And what if they just took developers that are active and just plastered their name on that back screen, and whether or not they came, hey, these are the developers that are our top X developers. And that way, when you come by and you could have folders, some booths, you can bring some folders, some paperwork, some stickers, some cards, and leave them there, a small area. That would be really cool. And then people come through, and if you guys are hanging out in there, oh, well, let me see, is Parallel 42 going to be, oh, hey, there they are. And then, you're over here, you meet, other fellow developers. So, like you said, you didn't even see them.
Yeah.
Had there been a dedicated area, you would have walked around and seen, hey, they're here, they're on the floor. So
Yeah.
that's really good. I like that.
And we have the Don. She's going to be our last one. So.
Oh man, I really don't know. I always think, you guys, the fact that I'm the last one, you guys pretty much cover everything.
That's because the Don doesn't have to say anything.
Yes, I have my henchmen here with me. They do all the hard work, and I'll just go. You go paint the age on the top of the building.
So you want more helipads for next
No,
year?
I want no. I want a lounge with a helipad.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I want a lounge, but it has to be a helipad. I like Sebastian's idea, and I think it could be a bit expanded on. There was something that Sebastian said that I find it very interesting because very often I think on the developers that are here, especially the smaller ones, that have like a one-man team, because this is expensive, right? Yeah. And I can give you an example of PropStrike Trainer. It was pretty much, it was a one-man show. It was a one-man show, so it's just.
Who here's a one-man show?
Sorry?
Who here's a one-man show?
Yeah, but we are not exhibitors.
Media. But,
right.
but that's my point. Like, there's so much media,
Yeah.
developers. Like, there's a lot of those people. And
True.
A lot of us in this industry, we are one-man teams, right? So we understand the struggle.
Yeah, that's the thing, and for the thing is, even for very basic things, as for Luciano, angels don't have backs, but it's a Portuguese thing.
Now
But
you know the video's getting too loud.
But here's the thing, Jose. The main issue, or one of the issues, or a couple of issues that I saw, or that I know that these developers have, is the fact that number one, they have to bring their food, because they're not going to leave the booth during lunchtime. Right, and number two, they don't see anything. Right, they don't get to see anything else. They are stuck on their booths. Right, so the idea that Seb had of having a place where they would put their folders there or whatever, discounts or whatever. I like the idea, but I'm a developer, so I was expanding on the idea. Like for example, having a QR code. And anyone that wanted to talk with a developer, access the QR code, open up an application or website or something like that, and then say, hey, I would like to talk to you. And the developer would get a notification. So the developer wouldn't have to be at the booth.
Awesome.
Right? It would be just...
They can go and see other things.
Yeah, they can go and see other
things.
things.
Hey, somebody wants to talk to me, and then they can wander back.
Yeah,
or say,
yeah.
Hey, I'll be back there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. I think that would be a great idea for the small developers. And they, even if, of course, space needs to be paid, but I think that's something that would be made in conjunction with several small developers. I think it would work really well.
I wouldn't mind paying a small sum to be a part of a collective booth. That wouldn't be a problem. And the problem is
forking it out for that booth all by yourself.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the collective booth. Yes, I like with the collective.
Yes,
and the cyclic and the
collective.
Get out!
Very collective.
Oh my god!
Give me that damn microphone. Holy crap. Before this devolves into the Heli Simmer show.
What? It's not already there?
It was there about a half hour ago.
Well, look at the logo.
I know, right?
You're screwed.
By the way, huge thank you to Sérgio because it is his camera, his microphone that we're using for this. Tristan's got a backup plan and a battery pack, which is currently helping our technical issues.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. But I want to say that will pretty much wrap it up. So hopefully, everybody got a chance to say some of the things that we think will make this an even better event. But I do want to thank everyone in this room, and I want to thank the organizers of the event and all the devs and content creators that I had the opportunity to talk to, whether I'm meeting you for the first time or whether, we're just catching up on all the time that we've missed. I want to thank everybody, and especially Evan and Phil and the Flight Sim Association crew that put together this thing. You're almost there from the standpoint of this is, in fact, one of the greatest conventions that they have for this sort of thing. If you take into consideration some of the things that we've all put forth, hopefully it'll make next year even better. And I can tell you right now, I am very much looking forward to going to Rhode Island. So thank you, boys, for being here with me on this little thing, and especially thank you to my two grumpies here. And I don't know what else to really say other
say one
than
thing?
if you enjoy it.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
How
sure.
awesome the rooftop event was at the end.
Oh, I almost forgot about the
Jane-
damn thing. Microsoft, Asobo,
Jane,
thank
I
you.
think I don't know if it was Jane that coordinated. Like that was spectacular. And I know it's not always going to be 51st floor. It doesn't always have to be, but that time was really cool, and that was a great location. So, I mean,
Pretty much the highlight of my entire trip was being able to put on the purple suit again and head upstairs to the 51st floor. I'll probably flash the image like right over there in the corner. But anyway, this is it for me. So thank you as always for watching. This has been Bel Geode. I am signing out. I'm kicking these guys out of my room and I'm going to take a damn nap. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like and don't forget to subscribe as always. And I will catch you all really soon back to our regularly scheduled hermit programming with the Flight Sim. Alrighty, folks, I'll talk to you all soon. Ciao.
Regularly scheduled hermit programming.
Hermit programming.
Sorry, just